Listen carefully, because this might be the wake-up call your soul has been waiting for. Every single person on this planet is fighting a war that no one else can see, a war inside their own mind. The difference between those who rise and those who remain broken isn't luck, talent, or money. It's control. Your brain is the most powerful weapon you'll ever own, but if you let it control you, it becomes your biggest enemy. There are days when your brain will scream at you to quit, to stay comfortable, to give in to weakness. That voice, it's the enemy. You've got to dominate it. Discipline is not born in comfort. It's forged in the fire of pain, in the moments when your emotions say stop and your purpose says keep going. Every second you hesitate, every excuse you accept, you surrender your power. Life won't hand you peace. You must create it by mastering yourself. Remember this. Your brain works for you, not the other way around. When you learn to silence fear, ignore doubt, and take relentless action, you become unstoppable. Control your mind, and the world bends to your will. Your emotions are signals, not commands. Most people never truly understand the depth of that truth, and because of it, they live their entire lives like puppets, pulled in every direction by feelings they don't control. You feel sad, you stop trying. You feel tired, you rest instead of building. You feel fear, you back down when you should rise. That's how the weak live. They obey every emotional impulse as if it's a divine order, never realizing that emotions are not meant to lead. They're meant to inform. They are like the warning lights on the dashboard of your life. When your emotions flare up, they're trying to tell you something, but it's your job to interpret, not to surrender. When you feel fear, your brain is signaling uncertainty. It's not saying run, it's saying prepare. When you feel doubt, your brain is saying you haven't built enough confidence yet, so build it. When you feel tired, it's not always your body that's weak, it's often your mind that's resisting discipline. The truth is, the strongest people in the world feel the same emotions you do. They feel fear, exhaustion, loneliness, anger, and anxiety. The difference? They don't bow to them. They look their emotions in the face and say, I hear you, but I decide. That's power. That's control. That's freedom. You cannot stop emotions from coming. They are automatic, instinctive, and deeply human. But you can stop them from controlling your behavior. Every time you act based on emotion rather than logic and purpose, you give your power away. Think about how many lives have been destroyed by a single emotional decision, a fight made in anger, a dream abandoned out of fear, a relationship broken because pride spoke louder than love. Emotion without control is chaos. It can make you destroy the very things you swore you'd die for. That's why mastering your emotions is not optional. It's essential if you want to live a life of purpose and dominance. The greatest warriors, leaders, and achievers in history were not emotionless. They were emotion controlled. They felt rage, but turned it into focus. They felt fear, but turned it into preparation. They felt pain, but turned it into strength. Every emotion can be fuel if you know how to use it. The secret is perspective. Instead of asking, why do I feel this way? Ask, what is this emotion trying to teach me? Anger can teach you where your boundaries are. Sadness can teach you what truly matters to you. Fear can show you what you must confront to grow. But if you let emotions dictate your actions, you'll live reactive, weak, and scattered, forever at the mercy of your mood. The modern world feeds on emotional weakness. Social media, entertainment, instant gratification, all of it is designed to keep you chasing feelings. It makes you addicted to temporary highs while avoiding the deep work that builds strength. You scroll to feel better. You eat to escape. You sleep to avoid reality. You've trained your brain to obey every emotional command, and that's why you're stuck. You cannot grow until you learn to separate how you feel from what you do. Winners feel pain and still show up. They feel doubt and still move forward. They feel fear and still take action. That's not natural, it's trained. It's built through repetition, through saying no to comfort 1,000 times until your brain learns that emotions do not dictate your path. Discipline does. Imagine your mind is a wild horse. Emotions are its movements. Fast, unpredictable, powerful, but you are the rider. Without control, the horse will throw you off, run into walls, and destroy everything in its path. With control, that same power becomes unstoppable, speed and strength. The difference is control. You can't silence the horse, but you can steer it. The same goes for your emotions. You can't erase fear or sadness, but you can control where they take you. The next time you feel an emotion trying to dominate you, stop and breathe. Don't react immediately. Create space between emotion and action. That gap, that pause is where mastery is born. In that moment, you decide whether to be a slave or a commander of your mind. Tell yourself, this feeling is a message, not an order. When anger rises, ask what boundary was crossed. When fear whispers, you can't. Answer, watch me. When laziness says rest, reply, not yet. Every time you do that, you train your brain to obey you. Eventually, you become unshakable, calm in chaos, sharp under pressure, unstoppable under stress. And understand this, emotions aren't your enemy. They are your compass, but you must learn to read them correctly. A compass only helps when you know where you want to go. If you don't have a direction, emotions will spin you in circles. That's why having a purpose, a mission, something greater than yourself is vital. Purpose gives your emotions context. Fear becomes focus. Pain becomes fuel. Discipline becomes devotion. You stop living in reaction and start living in control. Most people will never reach that level. They'll continue living as victims of their emotions, blaming everything and everyone for their lack of control. But not you. You're not meant to live like that. You're meant to master yourself, to stand tall in the storm, unbroken, unbothered, and unshaken. Remember this truth every single day. Your emotions are signals, not commands. They are meant to guide your awareness, not dictate your destiny. The moment you stop letting emotions drive you and start letting purpose lead you, you take back the steering wheel of your life. And once you have that control, there's nothing and no one that can stop you. Discipline begins when motivation dies. Those words are the dividing line between the people who dream and the people who achieve. Motivation is a spark. It feels good. It gets you started. It makes you believe you're unstoppable for a moment. But sparks fade. The fire goes out. The music stops. The excitement disappears. That's when most people quit because they were never truly committed. They were addicted to the feeling, not the process. Real success doesn't live in that spark of motivation. It lives in the cold, dark mornings when you don't want to move, but you do it anyway. It lives in the hours no one sees. When there's no praise, no energy, no applause, just you, your willpower, and your goals staring back at you. Motivation is emotional. It's like the wind. Sometimes it's with you, sometimes it's gone. If you depend on motivation, you'll spend your life waiting for perfect conditions that will never come. Discipline is different. Discipline doesn't care how you feel. It doesn't ask if you're tired, sad, angry, or uninspired. It doesn't rely on mood. It relies on command. Discipline is when you tell your body, we're doing this, and your body obeys. It's when your mind says, get up, and you don't negotiate. The weak negotiate, the strong execute. That's the truth most people don't want to face. When motivation dies, that's when the real war begins. The war between who you are and who you want to be. Your mind will throw every excuse at you. You deserve a break. You'll start tomorrow. It's not the right time. That's the voice of weakness. Discipline is the counterattack. It's the moment you say, no, I don't care how I feel. I have work to do. The ones who win in life are not the ones who feel ready. They are the ones who move regardless of readiness. Discipline is not about feeling. It's about decision. You decide once, and that decision governs you every day. You don't have to re-decide. You just show up. Look at anyone who has built greatness. Athletes, entrepreneurs, leaders, warriors. They all have one thing in common. They operate without needing motivation. They train when it's raining, when it's late, when they're exhausted, when no one's watching. They understand something simple yet powerful. Consistency beats intensity. Motivation makes you sprint, but discipline makes you endure. Life is not a 100-meter dash. It's a marathon through storms, heat, and darkness. Only discipline can carry you through the long, boring, painful parts of that road. That's why most people never reach greatness. They quit when the excitement fades. They chase the feeling, not the result. Think about it. When you're motivated, everything feels easy. You wake up early, you eat clean, you work hard, you smile. But the day motivation dies, everything feels heavy. That's when discipline steps in as the difference maker. Discipline is doing the same work on the worst day that you do on the best day. It's keeping your word to yourself when no one's holding you accountable. It's showing up when the world doesn't care whether you succeed or fail. Motivation is external. It comes and goes. Discipline is internal. It's a part of who you are. Once you make discipline your identity, you stop chasing feelings and start chasing results. Most people misunderstand discipline. They think it's about punishment or restriction, but it's actually the highest form of freedom. When you're disciplined, you're no longer a slave to your emotions. You're not controlled by laziness, fear, or distraction. You control you. That's power, that's strength. Discipline builds confidence because every time you keep a promise to yourself, you prove you're in control. Confidence isn't built by success, it's built by consistency. Every day you show up, even when you don't feel like it, you're reinforcing the truth that you are stronger than your excuses. The problem with relying on motivation is that life will always test you at the exact moment you have none left. You'll have bad days, failures, heartbreaks, losses, days when you feel empty and defeated. Motivation can't save you then, but discipline can. Discipline is what gets you out of bed after a loss. It's what makes you train when you're sore. It's what makes you focus when your mind is scattered. It's the anchor that holds you steady when everything else falls apart. You can't fake discipline. It's built through repetition, through pain, through thousands of small decisions that no one sees but you. And here's the hardest truth. Discipline isn't meant to feel good. It's meant to work. It's meant to shape you, harden you, and prepare you for a world that doesn't care about your feelings. There will be days when you'll hate it, when you'll question why you're even doing it, when giving up will seem easier. But that's the point. Discipline isn't tested when it's easy. It's tested when it's hard. Every rep you don't want to do, every early morning you force yourself out of bed, every task you complete while exhausted, those moments are where you grow. Pain is the forge and discipline is the hammer. You either let it shape you or you remain the same forever. So stop waiting to feel ready. Stop chasing the rush of motivation. Understand that every great achievement stands on the foundation of discipline. The man or woman who learns to act without needing to feel inspired becomes unstoppable. You can't control motivation, but you can control action. You can control effort. You can control discipline. And when you do that, motivation eventually returns, not because you need it, but because discipline earns it. Motivation is temporary. Discipline is eternal. Remember this, the day motivation dies is not the end of your journey, it's the beginning of your transformation. That's the day you find out who you really are. Anyone can work hard when they're inspired, but only the discipline can keep going when they're broken, tired, and alone. That's where champions are made. That's where dreams are turned into reality. Discipline begins when motivation dies, and from that moment on, you stop being ordinary and start becoming unstoppable. Comfort is the enemy of growth. It sounds simple, but it's one of the hardest truths to accept in life. Every time you choose comfort, you choose stagnation. Every time you avoid discomfort, you delay your evolution. People love the idea of success, greatness, transformation, but they hate what it demands. Growth doesn't come from soft pillows, easy mornings, or predictable routines. Growth is born in discomfort, in resistance, in the struggle that forces you to become something more than you were yesterday. Comfort feels good, but it kills potential. It's the silent poison that numbs your ambition and convinces you that good enough is all you'll ever need. The human brain is wired to seek comfort. It wants safety, stability, and ease. That's natural. But what's natural isn't always what's best for you. Every meaningful thing you've ever achieved came from stepping into something uncomfortable. Think about it. The first time you tried something new, it felt awkward. The first time you worked out, it hurt. The first time you faced fear, you shook. But every one of those moments pushed you to grow. Discomfort is the language of progress. Comfort whispers, stay here, it's safe. Growth screams, move now, it's time to evolve. And only one of those voices will take you somewhere worth going. Comfort is seductive. It offers you rest, pleasure, distraction. It makes you believe you've earned a break. But the truth is, comfort is rarely rest. It's resistance disguised as relaxation. You tell yourself you're recharging, but most of the time you're escaping. You escape from effort, from discipline, from the pain of becoming better. Growth is not supposed to feel good. It's supposed to feel uncomfortable. That's why so few people ever change. They run from anything that challenges them. They choose the couch over the gym, excuses over accountability, scrolling over studying, and then they wonder why nothing in their life moves forward. The greatest version of you exists on the other side of pain, challenge, and effort. But to reach it, you have to be willing to suffer a little. You have to be willing to walk into situations where you don't feel ready or comfortable, because comfort doesn't build character. Resistance does. When you lift weights, your muscles grow because they are torn and rebuilt. The same rule applies to your mind, your habits, your spirit. You have to tear away the parts of yourself that are soft and weak to become strong. Comfort won't let you do that. It will whisper, you're fine the way you are, when deep down you know you're not. The most dangerous thing about comfort is that it feels right. It gives you temporary happiness, but long-term regret. The pain of growth lasts for a while, but the pain of staying the same lasts a lifetime. Comfort convinces people to settle for average relationships, average bodies, average lives. It's easier to complain than to change, easier to dream than to do. And that's how most people live. Safe, secure, but never truly alive. Growth hurts because it demands that you leave pieces of your old self behind. Comfort tells you to protect them. Growth tells you to burn them. But every time you choose discomfort, you send a message to your brain, I'm in control. Every time you face something hard, you build resilience. You stop being controlled by fear, laziness, or doubt. The cold shower, the early morning workout, the difficult conversation, all of those moments are not about what you're doing, but who you're becoming. You're proving to yourself that you can handle pressure, that you can move forward even when it's not easy. That's what separates the weak from the strong. The weak look for comfort to escape struggle. The strong seek struggle to escape weakness. There's a reason why successful people live differently. They've learned to make peace with discomfort. They've trained their minds to understand that pain is part of progress. They embrace early mornings, hard work, and sacrifice because they know comfort never made anyone legendary. They know that comfort breeds mediocrity. And mediocrity is death to ambition. Every empire was built by someone who was willing to suffer more than everyone else. Every champion you admire was once uncomfortable doing what they now master with ease. Growth is simply the process of becoming comfortable with discomfort. But comfort doesn't only come in physical form. It lives in the mind. Mental comfort is the most dangerous kind. It's when you stop questioning yourself, when you stop learning, when you think you've made it. The moment you think you've arrived is the moment you start to decline. The mind grows through challenge, through curiosity, through being wrong and learning from it. The second you protect your ego and avoid discomfort, you stop evolving. That's why humility is essential to growth. It keeps you uncomfortable enough to keep moving. When life gets hard, most people retreat to comfort. They quit when it hurts, when they fail, when things get uncertain. But the truth is, discomfort is not a sign that something's wrong. It's a sign that something's working. Discomfort is proof that you're moving beyond your limits. It's a signal that you're stretching into new territory. You're supposed to feel pressure when you're breaking through. The problem is, most people mistake pressure for pain and back down just before the breakthrough happens. If you truly want to grow, you have to build a relationship with discomfort. Welcome it, chase it, learn from it. Every time you face something that scares you, you expand your capacity. Every time you do something hard, you toughen your spirit. You stop being a victim of circumstance and start being a master of adaptation. That's what growth really is, the ability to evolve no matter how uncomfortable life becomes. So stop running toward comfort. Stop looking for the easy path. Easy paths make weak people. Difficult paths build strong ones. Every great story, every hero, every success you admire was built in discomfort. They struggled, they failed, they suffered, but they kept going because they knew the truth. Comfort might feel safe, but it's a slow death. Discomfort is where life begins. The choice is yours. You can live comfortably and die unfulfilled, or you can embrace the struggle and rise beyond everything you ever imagined. Growth doesn't happen in comfort zones. It happens when you break out of them. Master your thoughts, master your destiny. Every great change, every transformation, every success begins in the mind. Your thoughts are the architects of your reality. What you think about, you become. What you focus on, you attract. What you believe, you create. The problem is that most people never learn to control their thoughts. They let their minds wander into fear, doubt, jealousy, and weakness, and then they wonder why their lives reflect that chaos. The mind is a powerful tool. It can either build your future or destroy it. The difference depends on whether you're its master or its prisoner. Because your mind is like fertile soil. Whatever seeds you plant, positive or negative, will grow. If you constantly think about failure, pain, and limitations, that's exactly what your life will produce. If you fill your mind with strength, vision, and faith, your life begins to align with that power. The tragedy is that people don't realize they're choosing their destiny every day through their thoughts. They think life happens to them, but in truth, life responds to them. The energy you project is the energy you attract. Your world is nothing but a reflection of what's happening inside your head. You have to understand that thoughts are not harmless. They are commands. Every thought is a signal to your brain, shaping your emotions, habits, and actions. Think weak, act weak. Think strong, act strong. Your thoughts form your beliefs shape your habits, and your habits build your destiny. That's why the first and most important battle you'll ever fight is the battle inside your own mind. If you can't control your thoughts, you'll never control your life. You'll always be at the mercy of circumstances, emotions, and other people's opinions. True freedom begins when you learn to take command of your inner world. The human brain is designed to protect you, not to make you great. It wants comfort, safety, and survival, not excellence, ambition, and risk. That's why your thoughts naturally drift toward fear, doubt, and limitation. You have to train your mind like a muscle. Just as you lift weights to strengthen your body, you must challenge your thoughts to strengthen your mind. When fear arises, replace it with faith. When negativity appears, replace it with gratitude. When doubt whispers, "You can't," your discipline must roar, "Watch me." You can't stop negative thoughts from coming, but you can stop them from controlling you. Most people let their thoughts run wild. They believe every fear, every doubt, every limiting belief as if it were truth. But thoughts are not facts. They are choices. You decide which ones deserve your attention. Every time you dwell on weakness, you give it power. Every time you focus on strength, you reclaim control. You must learn to become the observer of your mind, not the slave to it. Watch your thoughts, challenge them, and redirect them toward purpose. This isn't about pretending everything is perfect. It's about recognizing that your perception creates your experience. A disciplined mind creates a disciplined life. Think about it. Every invention, every empire, every dream that changed the world started as a single thought in someone's mind. The airplane existed first as a thought, the light bulb, the smartphone, the skyscraper, all thoughts before they were real. Your life is no different. Every goal, every achievement begins in your imagination. If your thoughts are small, your life will be small. If your thoughts are bold, your life will expand. The limits of your life are set by the limits of your mind. That's why you must guard your thoughts with everything you have, because they are the foundation of everything you will ever do. But mastering your thoughts doesn't mean thinking positive all the time. It means thinking with purpose. It means directing your mental energy toward solutions instead of problems, toward action instead of excuses. Weak minds react. Strong minds create. When you master your thoughts, you stop being controlled by emotions and start using them as fuel. You stop wasting energy on what you can't control and start focusing on what you can. You stop wishing and start doing. Your thoughts become weapons instead of weaknesses. To master your thoughts, you need awareness and repetition. Awareness is recognizing the quality of what's happening in your mind. You can't change what you don't notice. Start catching yourself when you complain, when you compare, when you speak negatively about yourself. Then replace those thoughts immediately. Don't feed them with attention. Repetition is the training process. Affirm your purpose every day, visualize your goals, and constantly remind yourself of who you're becoming. Over time, your mind starts to obey you automatically. Just like training a wild horse, consistency tames chaos. Understand this, your mind doesn't care what you feed it, it will grow whatever you plant. If you plant self-doubt, it will grow into fear. If you plant discipline and belief, it will grow into achievement. The choice is yours. Most people spend their lives planting weeds, then wonder why their garden is full of pain. But those who master their thoughts cultivate power, clarity, and peace. They create their destiny intentionally, not accidentally. They stop reacting to life and start designing it. The moment you take control of your thoughts, you become unstoppable. Life's challenges won't disappear, but your ability to handle them will evolve. You'll face the same storms as everyone else, but while others break, you'll bend and rise again. You'll stop being a victim of circumstance and start being a creator of opportunity. That's the essence of mastering your destiny. Not luck, not chance, but deliberate thought and consistent action. Your destiny isn't written in the stars, it's written in your mind. Every decision, every outcome, every transformation begins as a single thought you chose to believe in. The question is, are your thoughts serving you or destroying you? Every day, you have the power to decide. Guard your mind as if your life depends on it, because it does. When you learn to command your thoughts with discipline, focus, and faith, you unlock the greatest power a human can possess, the ability to create your future. Master your thoughts and you master your destiny, because everything you will ever become starts within you. Your brain must serve your vision, not sabotage it. The human brain is the most powerful machine in existence. It can build empires, invent miracles, and change the world. Yet for most people, that same brain becomes their greatest enemy. The same mind that could create greatness spends its energy creating fear. The same thoughts that could build confidence are used to build excuses. Your brain is not naturally your ally. It is designed to protect you, not to push you. Its job is to keep you safe, comfortable, and alive, not to make you extraordinary. That means if you don't train it, it will work against you. It will sabotage your goals, whisper lies, and pull you away from your purpose. That's why you must take control of it. You must make your brain serve your vision. Every dream you have will face resistance, and most of that resistance won't come from the world, it will come from inside your own head. Your brain will tell you that you're not ready, that you might fail, that you should wait for the right time. It will remind you of your past mistakes and convince you that you don't have what it takes. That's not truth, it's protection. Your brain is doing what it's programmed to do. Avoid pain, avoid risk, avoid change. But growth requires pain, risk, and change. So if you obey that programming, you'll stay stuck forever. Safe, comfortable, but unfulfilled. You must reprogram your brain to serve your vision. You do that by feeding it direction, discipline, and clarity. When your vision is strong, it gives your brain a target. Without that, your mind wanders aimlessly. It chases distractions, entertains doubt, and gets lost in fear. A vision acts like a compass. It tells your brain what to focus on, what to ignore, and what to fight for. Without a clear purpose, your brain will always choose the path of least resistance because it's easy. But nothing great comes from easy. Greatness comes from control. Controlling your thoughts, your emotions, and your actions until your brain no longer argues with your mission. Think about how your brain reacts to discomfort. The moment you try something new or push beyond your limits, it starts screaming at you. Stop stop, this hurts, you're not good enough. That's not failure. It's the signal that you're entering new territory. Your brain resists because it's unfamiliar. But if you push through that resistance, your brain adapts. It learns that discomfort isn't danger. It's growth. Every time you override that instinct, you teach your brain to obey your purpose instead of your fear. Eventually, your brain starts panicking and starts assisting. It starts helping you find solutions instead of excuses. That's when your mind becomes your greatest ally. Your brain will try to sabotage your vision through comfort and doubt. It will convince you to settle for good enough. It will tell you that staying safe is smart, but comfort is the killer of potential. Every time you choose comfort over challenge, your brain grows weaker and your vision fades. The mind must be trained to understand that struggle is not punishment, it's progress. The gym feels painful, but it builds strength. Discipline feels hard, but it builds character. The same rule applies to your mental life. When you choose to fight through struggle, your brain rewires itself to see obstacles as opportunities. That's how you turn your greatest obstacle, your own mind, into your greatest weapon. Your brain is not evil, it's just lazy. It takes the easiest path by default. That's why you have to constantly give it commands. You can't let your mind wander without direction because it will always drift toward fear and limitation. You have to speak to it with authority. When your brain says, I can't, you respond, I can and I will. When it says it's too hard, you say, that's exactly why I'm doing it. You must train your thoughts like a soldier trains discipline, daily, relentlessly, and with conviction. The more you do this, the more your brain begins to understand that you are the leader, not the follower. The people who achieve greatness are not smarter than everyone else. They simply learned how to command their minds. They built the habit of taking action even when their brains screamed no. They replaced self-doubt with self-belief through repetition. They stopped allowing negative thoughts to dictate their behavior. You can do the same. You just have to decide that your vision matters more than your comfort, your purpose matters more than your excuses, and your potential matters more than your fears. You can't let your brain run on autopilot because autopilot always takes you back to average. You must live intentionally with awareness. Notice when your thoughts begin to sabotage you. Notice when fear starts speaking louder than purpose. That awareness is the first step to mastery. Once you recognize it, you can interrupt it and redirect it. Instead of saying, I can't, ask, how can I? Instead of focusing on what might go wrong, focus on what will go right if you commit fully. Direct your brain toward progress. The more you focus on your vision, the less power fear has over you. Your brain has unlimited potential. It can calculate, imagine, and create on levels beyond comprehension. But without control, that power turns inward and destroys you from within. It makes you overthink, doubt, procrastinate, and settle. You must be stronger than your excuses, smarter than your fear, and louder than your doubt. Your brain should not be a cage. It should be a weapon. You can either let it build walls or use it to break them. The choice is yours every single day. The truth is simple. You will never rise higher than your mindset. You can have talent, skill, and opportunity, but if your brain is working against you, you'll sabotage every success that comes your way. But when your mind is aligned with your vision, nothing can stop you. Every setback becomes fuel. Every failure becomes a lesson. Every obstacle becomes a test of will. That's when you move from surviving to conquering. Your brain is the control center of your destiny. Make it your ally. Train it. Discipline it. Command it. Don't let it drag you into fear, laziness, or regret. Feed it with vision, purpose, and power. When your brain begins to serve your vision instead of sabotaging it, you become unstoppable because no force on earth is stronger than a mind that has decided to obey its purpose. In the end, everything comes down to control. Control over the one thing that shapes every second of your life, your mind. Your brain is not meant to lead you. It's meant to follow you. It's a tool, a weapon, a servant of your vision. If you let it run wild, it will fill your life with fear, hesitation, and regret. But if you command it with discipline, focus, and purpose, it will build the life you dream of. Every great achievement, every victory begins with mastering the battlefield within. You must become the commander of your thoughts, the ruler of your emotions, the architect of your beliefs. There will always be noise, doubt, failure, pain, but a strong mind walks through chaos with clarity. The world doesn't reward those who wait for perfect conditions. It rewards those who take control of their own minds and act anyway. So silence the inner critic, starve your fear, and feed your purpose. Train your brain until it obeys your mission, because when your mind is aligned with your vision, nothing can break you. The moment you conquer your thoughts is the moment you claim your destiny, and from that point forward, the world becomes yours.